Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another real world story, hence the name of the channel. These are real case studies of my personal experiences, my wins and my losses. Please do stick around till the end where I introduce my next video. A little hint, it's a Dogecoin millionaire story. And without further ado, this is about a token called the DFO Hub. The token symbol is BIDL. Well, what is DFO Hub all about? Well, the brief description would be that it allows you to create and deploy decentralized, flexible organizations with voting tokens, etc. I got into it around January 2021, and there was a lot of hype around it. There was a lot of people talking about it, so I decided to jump in. I bought in early with about $680. I made $800 profit and essentially selling high. And the funny thing is that I only sold 70 of my BIDL tokens, and I held on to 350. At the time of selling the 70, my 350 BIDL were worth $7,000. So let's take a look at a little bit of the history of this transaction. Okay, so end of January 2021, I had $680 that I decided to invest in BIDL tokens. I ended up buying 424 tokens at $1.60. A few months later, I ended up selling those tokens, or sorry, a portion of those tokens, only 74 of the original 424 at $19. That's well above a 10x return. And because I sold 74, I was able to bank $1,400, which was over $800, which ended up being well over a 2x return. And I was still holding on to 350 of those tokens. Essentially, right now, I was playing with house money and it was looking really good. My 350 tokens were right around $7,000. But unfortunately, the story kind of turns a little bit sour. So let's take a look at the chart here. Obviously, you can see I ended up buying somewhere down here. I caught it at the low. And as the price increased, it went all the way up to $27. Just 3 days before I ended up selling, it was at $27. Unfortunately, I don't think I was watching the market when it got all the way up to this point. I would have definitely sold on the way up, $19, $20, $21, $22. But unless you're a day trader or you have some limits set, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be able to time the market. Okay, so as you can see, on April 14th, the price was $27, and on paper, in my wallet, I had $11,450 in paper profits. And I stress paper profits because I did not realize those profits. The price of the token did dip to the $20 range, and that's around when I had sold my 74 tokens. But unfortunately, even though I had $7,000 still, so it went from 11,000 to 7,000, I still held on because I had those to the moon dreams. I thought that, well, it'll recover. Cryptocurrencies are still in their infancy. Within a year, this thing is going to be crazy. It's going to be back to the all-time high of $27. Maybe it'll go to $54. Maybe it'll hit $100. That's what we're all dreaming of when we are investing in crypto, unfortunately. So like I said, the story is sour because on April 20th, I did have $7,000 in paper profit still. So even though it dropped, I still had a significant amount of money. But you can see here this horrible downward trend. I started off with about $7,000 to $11,000 in paper profits, but alas, I was greedy. A lot of us in this space get very greedy. We are not seasoned investors. We oftentimes play with invest with our emotions. And what ended up happening was I had profits that were worth a car, one of my cars is worth right around $10,000. And I had as much money in my wallet as value in my car. But a car I do take care of. I maintain it. I make sure that I don't crash it. I take very good care of it because it's worth a lot of money. This was paper profits. And so on paper, this was looking great. And I was trying to hold on to it and hope that it went up. But it ended up obviously crashing all the way down. And right now, it is actually per token, it is less than what I ended up buying it in January. So I have the price of a TV, $500 instead of 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, etc. dollars. So the lessons to be learned here, I think this is the reason why I'm making these videos, is because although I've had some really great wins, I've also had some really great losses. This is a perfect story where I did end up making money. I'm still in the positive, but I could have definitely made a lot more money had I taken much more of those profits and not been greedy. So lesson number one, we always, always, always need to take profits. You can have a strategy of how you take those profits, but we definitely need to make sure that we are always taking profits. With that in mind, you have to have a plan and stick to it. So for example, when you see your investment return, its initial capital, take it back in part or in full, just like I did. I did that. So I ended up, it wasn't a completely sad story because I didn't lose money per se. I ended up making over $800, and I still have those tokens, which are worth about $500. So all in total, I have about $1,300 in profits, pure profit, which again was doubling my money. But it could have been so much better had I taken a lot of those profits off the table and maybe then just stuck with the initial $680 and let that ride. Maybe it doubles, maybe it triples, who knows? So the next lesson here, which is very much related, is do not be greedy. I think what's happened is we've all become so enamored by the $1 million portfolios and the wide-eyed crypto influencers to the moon, 100x thumbnails, that we forget that we actually have made huge profits. I mean, let me just go back to here. I had $11,000 in profits. I then had $7,000 in profits, and I did not take the majority of this profit off of the table. It just sat there, and then it now dropped in value all the way to $500. And that is really sad. Again, like I said, in the real world, my car is worth about the same value as what I had on paper, $10,000 to $11,000. The car, I work hard to maintain its value because I definitely want to keep it running for as long as possible. Maybe I want to be able to resell it for $9,000, $8,000, whatever it may be. I definitely would not want it to go to zero. But with this investment, I ended up allowing it to go to almost zero. So lessons are great, but here is a little bit of a strategy to give you something to kind of sink your teeth into. This is definitely one of hundreds and hundreds of strategies. This is a random strategy that I kind of put together that I felt gave me or would have given me a really good return and a balanced kind of risk outlook. So first of all, always do your own research. This is not financial advice, but once you've done your research, you can pick a strategy and definitely stick to it. I think we need to learn that this is a skill. Investing in cryptocurrencies, in the stock market, in whatever, is definitely a skill, and we need to have that discipline to stick to the strategies that we have picked. That doesn't mean that you can't fine-tune them. You definitely need to fine-tune them. But the most important thing here, again, is don't be greedy and avoid using your emotions. And with a good strategy that you have researched and good discipline, then you can avoid using emotions when making decisions. So let's take a look at this very basic strategy that I had put together. I put together a couple different ones, and I think I'll make a separate video to kind of compare the different strategies that I created. But here you can see on this first column, 424 tokens at $1.60 for $678 was my initial investment. Okay. Now I could have had a plan to break this up into 4 different tranches or 4 different clusters of 100 tokens each. And my decision could have been to sell at 320. So as soon as it doubles, I will sell the first 100. When that doubles again, I will sell again and again and again. And you can see here that I've highlighted in green the second sale because at about the second sale, you would have made $960. So that is well above your original investment. And anything after that is just gravy, right? If you waited till it doubled till $12.80, you could have sold another 100, made another $1,200, and then you could have been patient and sold it at $25. And in this case, you would have actually, or I would have actually caught it just before the all-time high, and I would have succeeded in profiting or making $4,800 from an original investment of under $700. So that is a 7x return. And I would have, in orange here highlighted, is the remaining 24 tokens that I could have just let them ride and hope that this thing goes to the moon, and those 24 tokens could then be sold for maybe $100 a pop, who knows. But I would have definitely, by the second sale, I would have made back all my money plus a significant profit. I would have had a 50% profit at that point, and then everything else would have just been gravy. So I never thought I would say these words, but please do subscribe, like, and share this with your friends, because these are real world case studies, real world scenarios. This is not hype. This is not crazy predictions. And I do have so many stories like this one, wins and losses, and I hope we can all learn together. And I want us to all avoid getting wrapped up in the over-sensationalized YouTube crypto space where, like I said, everything is about 100x's and to the moon, and something that is just over-sensationalized with ridiculous predictions. So subscribe, like, and share. Please comment below, and I will try to get to those comments. I love having these conversations. And on that note, have a wonderful day.